Imagine yourself in a place where nature seems to have been sculpted by ancient gods, a country that offers a visual spectacle at every step. Iceland is that unique destination, a land of extremes where stunning landscapes intertwine in a mesmerizing contrast. From vast black lava deserts stretching to the horizon, snow-covered mountains that touch the sky, to volcanic sand beaches bathed by crystal-clear waters, Iceland is a dream destination for those looking to connect with nature in its purest form. This country is more than just a destination. It's an epic journey filled with unforgettable adventures. Here, around every corner, you'll find gigantic waterfalls that seem to come straight out of fairy tales, geysers that erupt with both power and grace, and geothermal lagoons offering a relaxation experience like no other. And all of this is wrapped in the rich Viking culture, which remains alive in the traditions and the warm hospitality of its people. Did you know that Iceland is one of the few places in the world where you can, in a single day, walk on ice fields, admire active volcanoes, and dive into natural hot springs? Can you imagine getting lost in such a diverse and fascinating landscape, where each view is more breathtaking than the last? Iceland is widely known for its untamed and spectacular nature. When visiting the country, it's impossible not to be impressed by the diversity of its landscapes, which include towering mountains, vast glaciers, stunning waterfalls, active volcanoes, and black sand beaches. In every corner of the island, nature seems to tell a different story, always with a grandeur that challenges the imagination. If there's one place in the world where the earth shows its true power and beauty, that place is Iceland. No matter what time of year you choose to visit, Iceland always has something magical to offer. In summer, the land is covered in vibrant green, with rivers winding through plains and flowers blooming in fertile valleys. In winter, the country is blanketed in snow, turning the landscape into a true fairy tale land, with the northern lights painting the sky in unreal colors. Let's explore some of Iceland's most iconic and exciting landscapes and what makes each of them so special. The Golden Circle Route, where nature meets history. For those visiting Iceland for the first time, the Golden Circle Route is one of the best ways to start exploring the country's natural wonders. This circular route, easily accessible from Reykjavik, connects three of Iceland's most famous tourist spots: Thingvellir National Park, Geyser, and Gullfoss Waterfall. Thingvellir National Park is significant not only for its natural beauty but also for its historical importance. It is here that the world's oldest parliament, the Althing, was founded in 930 AD. But Thingvellir is also a geological wonder. Located in a rift valley, it is one of the few places in the world where you can walk between the North American and Eurasian tectonic plates. The feeling of being in a place where continents meet is unique, and the surrounding landscape, with lava fields, mountains in the background, and crystal-clear lakes, makes the experience even more unforgettable. Can you imagine walking through this stunning scene where history and geology are so deeply intertwined? Continuing along the route, you arrive at the geyser area, where the famous Strákar geyser erupts every few minutes, shooting columns of hot water over 20 meters into the air. Iceland is full of geothermal activity, and this region is one of the best places to witness the power of the underground heat up close. Walking among bubbling mud pools and smelling the characteristic sulfur in the air is a reminder that the ground here is alive and always in motion. Finally, the Golden Circle takes us to the majestic Gullfoss, one of Iceland's most impressive waterfalls. The waterfall, whose name means golden waterfall, descends in two tiers into a dramatic gorge, creating a powerful and continuous curtain of water. In winter, parts of Gullfoss can freeze, creating ice formations that make it even more striking. The thunderous sound of the water and the sight of its raw power are a spectacle that leaves any visitor breathless. Glaciers and volcanoes, the raw power of nature. Iceland is a land shaped by ice and fire, and nowhere is this duality more evident than in its vast glaciers and active volcanoes. One of the highlights for many visitors is the chance to explore these extreme landscapes up close. One of Iceland's most famous glaciers is Vatnajökull, the largest in Europe, covering about 8% of Iceland's territory. This immense ice mass is home to some of Iceland's most impressive sights, with bright blue ice caves that seem to have come from another world. Ice caves are a temporary phenomenon, formed by the forces of moving glaciers, and can only be explored during winter. Imagine walking inside these caves, where the transparent ice walls reflect light in a spectacle of blue and white, and each step echoes in the deep silence of the glacier. In addition to glaciers, Iceland is also home to many active volcanoes. Eyjafjallajökull, which gained global fame in 2010 due to the eruption that disrupted air traffic across much of Europe, is just one of many volcanoes that have shaped and continue to shape the country. Another notable volcano is Hekla, known as the Gateway to Hell during the Middle Ages due to its Iceland's stunning waterfalls. Iceland's waterfalls are among the most impressive in the world, and they are a must-see on any trip to the country. Besides Gullfoss already mentioned, there are many others that deserve attention. Seljalandsfoss is one of Iceland's most photogenic waterfalls. It drops from a 60-meter high cliff and has a feature that makes it even more special. You can walk behind the waterfall, offering a unique perspective and a magical experience, especially at sunset. The feeling of being surrounded by the curtain of water while watching the sky change colors in the background is something no visitor will forget. Another iconic example is Skogafoss, an imposing waterfall that drops from a height of 62 meters into a turbulent river below. The deafening sound of the water and the constant rainbow that forms in the water droplets when the sun shines create a magical scene. It's a place of pure grandeur, where it's easy to feel small in the face of nature's force. Skogafoss is also associated with local legends, with stories of hidden treasures behind the waterfall, adding to its mystical appeal. For a less touristy experience, Hayfoss Waterfall is a hidden gem. Located in Iceland's interior, this waterfall is one of the tallest in the country, with a drop of 122 meters. Its remote location makes it less visited, offering adventurers the chance to experience Iceland in a quieter, more intimate way. The scenery around Hayfoss, with mountains and deep valleys, is indescribably beautiful. The black sand beaches and the power of the Atlantic. Iceland's black sand beaches are another stunning natural spectacle. Among them, the most famous is Reynisfjara, located near the town of Vik on the country's south coast. This beach is known for its dramatic rock formations, basalt columns that rise like natural cathedrals, and the violent beauty of the Atlantic waves crashing against the shore. The landscape here is so wild and powerful that it's easy to see why the beach has been used as a setting for films and series like Game of Thrones. Despite its beauty, Reynisfjara is also known for its killer waves, treacherous currents that can pull even the most cautious visitors. It's always advisable to admire the beach from a safe distance, appreciating the visual spectacle of its dark sands and the turbulent sea in the distance. Another highlight is Diamond Beach, located on Iceland's southeast coast, near the Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon. Diamond Beach is unique for its black sand adorned with crystal-clear ice chunks that break off from glaciers and wash ashore, resembling diamonds scattered across the beach. Walking through this surreal landscape, where the ice contrasts with the dark sand and the ocean in the background, is an experience that feels like something out of a dream. Iceland is a country where nature takes center stage, offering landscapes that seem to have come from another planet. From the dramatic landscapes shaped by glaciers and volcanoes to the stunning waterfalls and black sand beaches, every corner of the island holds a different surprise. It's a place that makes you feel small in the face of the Earth's vastness and power. Traveling to Iceland is, without a doubt, a breathtaking experience, but beyond the more well-known sites like the Golden Circle and the Blue Lagoon, there is a more reserved and authentic Iceland, ready to be discovered by those who seek to explore the country in a deeper and less touristy way. If you want to have a genuine experience and connect even more with the landscapes and local culture, discovering the country's hidden gems and following a few practical tips can completely transform your trip. In this guide, you'll find valuable tips for planning your trip wisely, as well as uncover lesser-known but equally fascinating places that will make your Icelandic adventure even more special and unique. The best time to visit. Plan according to the seasons. Iceland is a destination that can be visited year-round, but the experience varies greatly depending on the season. Choosing the right time to visit depends on what you hope to see and do during your trip. If you dream of witnessing the Northern Lights, the best time to visit Iceland is between September and April. During these months, the nights are long, increasing your chances of observing this mesmerizing natural phenomenon. However, winter also brings cold temperatures, snow-covered roads, and storms that can disrupt tours and road trips. A key tip is to always check the weather and road conditions before traveling, especially if you plan to drive on your own. On the other hand, if your idea is to explore the country's landscapes and hiking trails, summer, from June to August, is the best time. With the midnight sun, Icelandic summer offers up to 24 hours of daylight, allowing you to make the most of outdoor activities. Additionally, it is during the summer that many of the roads in the highlands become accessible, opening the way for adventures in some of Iceland's most remote and stunning regions. Spring, April to May, and autumn, September to October, are ideal for those who want to avoid the summer crowds while still enjoying relatively mild temperatures. These shoulder seasons also provide spectacular landscapes, with nature transforming. Whether it's the blooming of wild plants or the vibrant coloring of autumn leaves. Getting around. How to explore the island. One of the best ways to explore Iceland is to rent a car and take a road trip around the Ring Road, Route 1. This scenic highway circles almost the entire island and connects many of the main tourist attractions. The freedom of driving on your own allows you to explore at your own pace, stop at lesser-known spots, and discover hidden gems along the way. However, it is important to be prepared for driving conditions in Iceland, which can be challenging, especially in winter. Another interesting option is to travel by motorhome or campervan, which allows for greater flexibility and the experience of camping amid Iceland's stunning landscapes. There are many campsites throughout the island, and spending the night under the stars or the midnight sun is a unique and unforgettable experience. For those who prefer not to drive, public transportation can be an alternative, although options are more limited, especially outside major cities. Tourist buses connect many of the popular spots, but visiting lesser-known places may be more difficult without your own vehicle. Hidden gems, lesser-known places. While Iceland's most famous attractions are impressive, exploring less visited locations can provide an even more authentic and unforgettable experience. Here are a few hidden spots worth including in your trip. Jalabak Nature Reserve and Landmannalaugar. The trails in the region range from short walks to more challenging hikes, such as the famous Laugavegur Trail, one of the world's most iconic trails, which connects Landmannalaugar to Thorsmork. The landscape along the way is surreal, with glacial rivers, volcanic ash deserts, and snow-capped peaks on the horizon. Westfjords, untouched Iceland. If you're looking for an even wilder and more isolated Iceland, the Westfjords are the perfect destination. This region, in the northwest of the country, is one of the least visited by tourists, making it ideal for those wanting to avoid crowds. The winding roads and long distances between villages mean that exploring the Westfjords requires time, but the reward is breathtaking views and an almost absolute peace. One of the must-see attractions in the Westfjords is Dynjandi, one of Iceland's most spectacular waterfalls. It cascades in a series of steps that widen as they descend, creating a waterfall that resembles a bridal veil. The sound of the water echoing through the surrounding mountains and the feeling of being in such a remote place add to the enchantment of the location. Another interesting spot in the Westfjords is Rauasandur, a unique red sand beach in the country where you can enjoy breathtaking panoramic views. The changing color of the sand throughout the day, depending on the sunlight, creates a fascinating natural spectacle. Vatnajökull Ice Caves. While Vatnajökull Glacier is a popular tourist destination, the seasonal ice caves that form inside it remain relatively off the radar for many visitors. These caves are a spectacle of rare beauty, formed by the melting and movement of the ice during winter. The bright blue color of the ice creates an almost magical atmosphere inside the caves, as if you were on another planet. Visiting the ice caves is only possible in winter, and it is highly recommended to hire an experienced guide, as safety is essential when exploring these natural wonders. The caves change shape and size every year, making each visit a unique and unrepeatable experience. Practical tips: what to pack and how to prepare. Visiting Iceland, especially if you plan to explore more remote areas, requires preparation. Here are some practical tips to ensure your trip is safe and comfortable. Dress in layers. Icelandic weather can change drastically throughout the day, and it's common to experience all 4 seasons in just a few hours. The best way to prepare is to dress in layers, with clothes that can be removed or added as needed. A good waterproof jacket is essential, as rain can occur at any time, especially when approaching waterfalls. Be prepared for strong winds. Winds in Iceland can be extremely strong, especially in coastal and mountainous areas. Make sure your clothing and gear, such as tents and backpacks, are suitable for withstanding harsh weather conditions. Respect nature. Iceland is a country with fragile nature. Respect the trails and protected areas, and never leave trash behind. Many areas are sensitive to human activity, and it's important to preserve the environment so that future generations can enjoy the same untouched beauty. Rent an appropriate vehicle. If you plan to explore more remote regions, such as the Highlands or the Westfords, renting a 4x4 vehicle is a necessity. Many roads in these areas are gravel and require a sturdy car. Also, remember that driving in Iceland requires caution, especially in winter when snow and ice can make roads dangerous. The culture of simplicity and Icelandic hospitality. Iceland is known for its welcoming and friendly people. Despite its small size, Icelanders are extremely proud of their culture and are always willing to share stories and tips with visitors. When traveling through small villages or less touristy areas, take the opportunity to interact with the locals and learn a little more about everyday Icelandic life. Simplicity is a hallmark of Icelandic culture. Instead of ostentation, Icelanders value nature and the quiet beauty of their surroundings. When talking about Iceland, it's common for images of breathtaking landscapes and impressive natural phenomena to dominate our imagination. However, there is another aspect of this island country that may surprise many: its unique and historically rich cuisine. Icelandic cuisine is a direct reflection of the environment in which the country is located, a land of extremes, where harsh weather and geographic isolation have shaped the local diet for centuries. In Iceland, gastronomy is not just about food, but also about tradition, preservation, and respect for natural resources. Here, fresh, local ingredients are highly valued, with an emphasis on seafood, lamb, dairy products, and preservation methods that date back to the Viking era. Ready to embark on this flavor journey? Let's dive into Iceland's rich palette of flavors, blending the traditional and the modern in a fascinating way. The Viking roots of Icelandic cuisine. To understand Iceland's current cuisine, it's necessary to go back to the period of the first Viking settlers. The inhabitants' diet was heavily influenced by the severe climate and the need to survive in an often inhospitable environment. During the long and harsh winters, Icelanders needed food that would last for months, making food preservation practices essential. Methods like smoking, fermentation, and drying became the foundation of local cuisine. One of the most traditional and curious dishes in Iceland is hakarl, which consists of fermented shark meat. For many tourists, this dish may seem unusual, and its strong, distinctive taste is not for everyone. However, hakarl is deeply rooted in the country's history. Originally, shark meat had to undergo a lengthy fermentation and drying process to be safe for consumption, as the Greenland shark found in Icelandic waters contains natural toxins in its flesh. The end result is a food with a unique flavor and a texture that challenges palates. Can you imagine tasting this authentic delicacy in a small Icelandic village? Another traditional dish is svi, boiled sheep's head. Although it may seem exotic to visitors from other countries, this dish has been a part of Icelandic food culture for centuries. It was a way to use every part of the animal at a time when food waste simply wasn't an option. This respect for ingredients and the mindset of using everything nature provides is still a central part of Iceland's culinary philosophy. Seafood, the treasure of Icelandic waters. With a rich coastline and cold waters teeming with a wide variety of fish, seafood is the crown jewel of Icelandic cuisine. Fishing is one of the country's most important industries, and the freshness of the marine ingredients is unparalleled. Among the most popular species are cod, herring, salmon, and Arctic char, which are caught daily and served in dishes that range from traditional to modern creations by renowned chefs. A classic example is plokkfiskar, a fish stew made by mixing cod or other white fish with potatoes, onions, and bechamel sauce. It's a simple but deeply comforting dish that reflects Iceland's connection to its maritime resources. Today, plokkfiskar is a true soul food of Iceland, served in many homes and in restaurants that pride themselves on authenticity. If you're looking for a truly memorable culinary experience, you can't miss humor, Icelandic lobster. Unlike the large lobsters found in other parts of the world, Icelandic lobster is smaller but far more flavorful. Grilled with butter and garlic, it becomes an explosion of delicate flavors and is one of the specialties in coastal towns like Hof, where seafood is a cornerstone of the local economy. Lamb, Iceland's most precious meat. Another highlight. A typical dish that you will find on many Icelandic tables is hangikjöt, smoked lamb, which is traditionally served during Christmas. The smoking technique used for hangikjöt is also an ancient practice, used by Icelanders to preserve the meat during the winter months. Today, this delicacy is an essential part of festive cuisine and a true symbol of Icelandic traditions. Can you imagine the rich, smoky aroma of lamb being served at a traditional celebration? Another dish that celebrates lamb is kjötsúpa, a meat soup that combines lamb with vegetables like potatoes, carrots, and turnips. It's a simple yet deeply flavorful soup, considered comfort food by many Icelanders, especially during the colder months. Tasting this hot soup on a winter's day is like receiving a warm embrace from the Icelandic land. Dairy, skyr, and other treasures. In addition to seafood and lamb, dairy products also play an important role in Iceland's gastronomy. The most famous of these is skyr, a type of yogurt that is actually more akin to fresh cheese due to its production process. Skyr is incredibly creamy and slightly tangy, making it a popular choice for both breakfast and desserts. Rich in protein and low in fat, it's considered a superfood and has recently gained popularity in various parts of the world. Icelanders have been eating skyr for over 1,000 years, and it remains a staple in many homes. You can try it in many ways: plain, with fresh fruit, or even with honey or jam. For an authentic local experience, try skyr with Icelandic blueberries picked in the fields at the end of summer, a combination that brings together two of the country's most beloved natural treasures. In addition to skyr, local butter and cheeses are also worth noting. Icelandic dairy products are known for their high quality, and the use of traditional production methods ensures they have rich, authentic flavors. During your visit, don't miss the chance to try Icelandic butter made from the milk of cows that graze freely in fields of grass and wildflowers. Exploring modern cuisine. The new Icelandic kitchen. In recent years, Iceland has seen a culinary renaissance, with local chefs experimenting with new ways to prepare traditional ingredients, combining international techniques with the island's rich culinary heritage. Reykjavik, in particular, has emerged as a destination for foodies, with restaurants ranging from casual to gourmet, all focused on local and seasonal ingredients. Many of these chefs are creating dishes that celebrate Iceland's natural flavors, using methods like fermentation, smoking, and curing, while incorporating global influences. A prime example is the renowned Dill restaurant in Reykjavik, which earned a Michelin star and is known for its creative and innovative approach to Icelandic cuisine. At Dill, you can savor dishes that highlight the best local ingredients, from lamb to seaweed harvested from the cold Atlantic waters. Icelandic cuisine is a celebration of its history, landscapes, and culture. From traditional dishes that date back to the Viking era to the modern and innovative cuisine thriving in the streets of Reykjavik, Iceland offers an unparalleled culinary experience. Every meal is an opportunity to explore the country's natural flavors and connect with the essence of its land and people. Have you ever imagined tasting the local cuisine at a traditional Icelandic market or in a restaurant overlooking the fjords? Which dish piqued your curiosity the most? Share in the comments. Iceland is a country that piques the curiosity of travelers from all over the world, not only for its breathtaking landscapes and wild nature, but also for its cultural peculiarities, unique traditions, and unusual natural phenomena. In addition to being a land of ice and fire, full of volcanoes and glaciers, Iceland holds a series of fascinating curiosities that can surprise even the most seasoned explorers. In this topic, we will unveil some of these curious facts that make Iceland a truly special destination and perhaps one of the most intriguing countries in the world. Are you ready to discover some surprising secrets about this incredible island nation? The population believes in elves and other mystical creatures. One of the most well-known curiosities about Iceland is the strong popular belief in mystical beings, such as elves, trolls, and other nature spirits. While many Icelanders consider themselves rational and modern people, a significant portion of the population believes in the existence of these supernatural beings, especially elves, known locally as huldufolk, literally hidden people. In Iceland, these creatures are seen as guardians of nature, and there are many stories about them intervening when the land is disturbed. In some cases, construction projects have been altered or even halted to avoid interfering with areas believed to be inhabited by elves. For example, roads have been rerouted, and certain sites avoided to not disturb these mythical figures. And don't think this is just an ancient superstition. Even today, many Icelanders prefer not to risk upsetting the elves, just in case. Can you imagine driving through Iceland's deserted landscape and spotting a rock formation that locals swear is home to elves? This respect for mystical traditions is deeply rooted in Icelandic culture and continues to influence the daily life of the country. There are no traditional surnames in Iceland. A peculiarity of Icelandic society is the absence of family surnames, as we know them in much of the Western world. Instead, Icelanders use the patronymic system, or, in some cases, matronymic, where the family name is based on the father's or mother's first name. For example, if a man named John has a son named Einar, the son's full name will be Einar Johnson, which literally means son of John. If John has a daughter named Sigrid, she will be called Sigrid Jonsdottir, meaning daughter of John. This system reflects the strong bond between parents and children, but can be confusing for those used to fixed surname systems. Additionally, there is no name change upon marriage. Icelandic women keep their birth names throughout their lives. Another interesting detail is that, as a result of this system, Iceland has a unique tradition of identifying people more by their profession or individual characteristics than by family name. This reflects the country's egalitarian culture, where there is no strong class division and people are treated more informally. Iceland has no army. Despite being strategically located in the North Atlantic, Iceland does not have armed forces. Since 1869, Iceland has not maintained a formal army, and its national defense is primarily guaranteed through alliances with other countries, such as the United States, via NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The only formal security force in Iceland is the Coast Guard, which is responsible for protecting maritime borders and conducting high-sea rescues. Iceland also has a local police force, but even this is notably peaceful. Icelandic police officers do not carry firearms in their daily duties, and the country is known for having one of the lowest crime rates in the world. Peace and security in Iceland are indeed some of the greatest attractions for visitors. Can you imagine a modern country without an army and with an unarmed police force functioning efficiently? Iceland is proof that it is possible. Iceland is one of the most geothermal activity is also responsible for Iceland's famous hot springs, like the renowned Blue Lagoon. But there are hundreds of other natural pools scattered across the country, many of them little known and off the tourist routes, where visitors can relax in warm waters surrounded by icy landscapes. This combination of underground heat and surface cold creates a fascinating contrast that is rare in other parts of the world. Speaking of volcanoes, Iceland has more than 130 volcanoes, many of which are still active. The last major volcanic eruption that captured worldwide attention was that of Age of Geological in 2010, when the enormous amount of ash expelled halted air traffic across Europe. Iceland is the best place to see the Northern Lights. One of the most magical and sought-after experiences for visitors to Iceland is witnessing the Northern Lights. This natural phenomenon occurs when charged particles from the sun collide with gases in the Earth's atmosphere, creating dancing lights in the sky. Iceland, with its location near the Arctic Circle and long winter nights, is one of the best places in the world to see this celestial display. The aurora lights can range from green to purple, blue, and even red, depending on atmospheric conditions and the intensity of solar activity. For Icelanders, the Northern Lights are part of everyday life during the darker months of the year, and many local legends and myths surround this phenomenon. To see the Northern Lights, it's best to visit Iceland between September and April, when the nights are longest. Additionally, getting away from major cities like Reykjavik increases the chances of seeing the spectacle, as the sky is darker in rural areas, far from light pollution. Icelanders are obsessed with books. Iceland is a nation of readers and writers. The country has one of the highest per capita book publication rates in the world and a cultural tradition that celebrates literature and storytelling. During Christmas, there is a tradition called Jólapakafól, which literally means Christmas book flood. At this time, Icelanders buy and exchange books with friends and family so they can spend the holiday reading. Additionally, Reykjavik was declared a UNESCO City of Literature in 2011 in recognition of the importance of literature in Icelandic culture. Icelanders are also known for their sagas, epic stories written during the Viking Age, which are still read and celebrated today as a vital part of the country's cultural heritage. Can you imagine spending Christmas exchanging books instead of traditional gifts? In Iceland, this tradition reflects the love for reading and knowledge, passed down from generation to generation. Iceland is a country full of curiosities and surprising facts that go far beyond its spectacular natural landscapes. Its traditions, legends, unique customs, and natural phenomena make Iceland a truly fascinating destination, filled with unforgettable experiences. Which of these curiosities caught your attention the most? Do you believe in elves? Or would you love to see the Northern Lights? Leave your comments